Welcome back to Backyard Basketball Podcast.
Play quit smoke.
Presented by the Ordinary Podcast Network. We are back. We're going to talk some basketball. We had everything but basketball grace the news this week. Everything from return of the madness in Detroit to puke stopping play in the Sacramento game a couple nights ago. I'm joined with Chris. Chris, how you doing?
I promise I won't throw up on this podcast.
All right. Well, that's a promise I'm glad you can make.
First, I want to give a shout out to Iman Shumpert, dude.
Oh yeah, why?
Yeah, because he just won tonight the finale on Dancing with the Stars.
Like,
he was
what's that show called
this season? Yeah, that's the show, Dancing with the Stars.
Do you even know
whoever watches that show?
What do they win?
He got a trophy.
I think they get some money they can donate to like a charity or something too.
The trophy kind of looks like the finals MVP trophy. It's kind of about like the same size.
Right.
But it's like all kind of like, I don't know, pearly, glossy whiteness thing. I can't really describe it.
Cool.
And they get a car. Do they get a car? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. I thought just money towards a charity for them and the dancer that they're partnered with, but a car makes sense too. It is Disney or ESPN.
Is it sponsored by Kia? Do they get like a Kia car that they donate?
I don't know. It's very likely.
Well, you know what? It's probably all for a great cause.
He's a great dancer. He's got fast feet.
Would have you thought out of all the players in the NBA, he would be the one that would win this contest?
Yeah, I think Nate Robinson was on it one year, and I don't think he won. I might not be accurate in saying that, but he seems like the guy that would be involved. Yeah, I think he'd be the guy. I could see Kyrie doing it because he's available.
Do you have to be vaccinated to be on Dancing with the Stars?
Highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Are you kidding me? You're gonna be dancing for this contact.
No, he probably wouldn't do it.
No. But well, kudos. Good on Iman, and yeah, man, friggin' sweet. So check out the dances on YouTube. You can look him up. Iman Shumpert and Daniela was his partner. I apologize, I can't remember her last name off the top of my head. They did a creepy one. We just got like scary eyes, and they're both in jumpsuits. I highly recommend that one.
Wow.
That one really freaked me out. Loved it. That's
awesome.
Basketball.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So did you catch much of what happened last week?
Yeah. I guess we should maybe talk about kind of the marquee. I mean, I really want to talk about it. I've been thinking about it kind of honestly nonstop since it happened, and I saw it. So it's pretty fresh in all of our minds.
Obviously of the 10-minute stoppage in the Sacramento Kings game because a fan vomited all over the court.
No, I didn't.
So what's this premier? You're obviously talking about this brawl that took place in Detroit
and the Laker Detroit game. You know what the craziest thing too is? Those two teams, they match up again this Sunday.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Okay, well
they play again on Sunday.
Give us some context. What happened?
So it was an altercation, and it was I can't remember who was up on the free throw line, but someone was taking a free throw shot, and you had where you stand when you're waiting for the free throws. LeBron James kind of competing for priority for the rebound over Isaiah Stewart. So Isaiah Stewart, LeBron James are kind of pushing up against each other. So Isaiah Stewart, just to give context, I think he's like a youngish guy.
He's 20 years old
on Detroit. Yeah. So he's got to be second or third year, I think.
He was drafted last year to the Portland Trail Blazers. He was the 16th overall pick, and he ended up with Detroit in a Trevor Ariza trade and some conditional future firsts in exchange for Robert Covington, yada, yada, yada. He ends up with the Pistons in exchange for Christian Wood. And December 1st, 2020, the Pistons sign him. That's how he ends up there. He's a young future power forward center. He's pretty feisty though, man. He grew up playing soccer and boxing.
What school did he go to?
Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, the Huskies.
Yeah. So what happened? They kind of went at they were kind of pressed up against each other. It looked like Stewart was kind of underneath LeBron's arm, kind of under his armpit. Yeah. It was definitely pushing up, and it was definitely losing a lot of LeBron's leverage to get kind of, again, like I said, priority. So like, what does LeBron do? He's looking at the ball, but he's got his hand there. You can see a little bit of a wind up. I don't know. You can see in the video, man. But regardless, he goes up, he smacks his hand, follows through. So LeBron's arm pushes off, follows through, and it's kind of somewhere along the forearm, right up to where the hand is on the outside, kind of just smacks him right in the face.
Right.
Cuts up his lip, cuts up his eye, like just his eyebrow. On the outside by his eye there. And, first he went down, then he got up, then he went up to LeBron. He said something to LeBron, the thing that, fascinated me, dude, is like the other Detroit players you see in that moment. I can't remember who's around him. I know Cade Cunningham's around him for a lot of it. Yeah. But
Corey Joseph.
Yeah. Corey Joseph was there. They immediately saw cause to break up, like immediately break up that front to front between LeBron and Stewart. Like it made me feel like Stewart said something to LeBron, like, I'm gonna punch you now or something. Like literally this immediacy that the Detroit other players had to be like, we have to stop this.
And then he broke loose like a freaking running back, busting through the linesman.
So they try to pull up, they try to pull him back, and you're right. Yeah, he
trying to tackle LeBron.
He's like, you know what? I ain't having none of this. And he starts, just go bowling over people. People are hitting the court, and then they get a hold of him again, pull him aside. LeBron's just away. And then my other favorite part, the moment he like goes to leave the arena, you can see him down the hallway. He just picks up speed, like he's on a mission. And the guys are saying that are recording the game, they're saying, "Oh, he's coming out the other side. He's gonna come out the other side."
Yeah,
where the Lakers are coming out that hallway. So all the Lakers players are looking down that hallway, and
Malice in the Palace returns.
No kidding. No kidding.
You know what's funny about this? Like, okay, so either like you said, the players knew that was happening, or there was something that was escalating that they needed to get into the way of. Or they just knew this guy. Like maybe this guy's like, he's just a hothead. Like, like he came out, and to be fair, energy guys are really invaluable, really important. I could see an Amir Johnson doing something like this. I could see a guy like Bismack Biyombo doing something like this. Guys who have been on Dwayne Casey's team before. Funny thing,
Steven Jackson, classic Malice in the Palace.
That's right. That's right, man. So Scott Foster was the referee in this game.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And he lets the timekeepers know the foul, right? James was issued a flagrant 2 for unnecessary and excessive contact above the shoulder and was ejected, right? Isaiah Stewart also ejected. But what's funny about this is that Scott Foster, when he tells the timekeepers, he goes, he's calling a foul on Isaiah Thomas, he says. And quickly corrects himself, Isaiah Stewart. And the irony in all of this is exactly that Isaiah Thomas was the menace in Detroit for so long. And against, MJ, the greatest of all time, now having LeBron be this other piece of this puzzle here. Like, do you think Isaiah Stewart would have done something like this if it wasn't LeBron? Like, if this happened, to Carmelo, would this have still happened?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, why it happened with LeBron as well, too, is because that one thing I definitely got from that altercation is, Isaiah Stewart doesn't take shit from anybody, which I thought was interesting, in the respect to, and this might be me overanalyzing it a little bit, but we do know this to be a truth where, you've got a small cluster of stars in the league, And you've also got, a giant mass of NBA players that are in the league. And you have some players that are in the league that don't necessarily have the spotlight or whatnot. And also recognize that those individuals that do, so that Isaiah Stewart, for example, looking towards LeBron James gets a certain level of kind of preferential treatment, not necessarily saying with calls or what have you, but some players argue this, right?
Yeah.
But it's how the media talks about the league and talks about the teams, and certain players get kind of the spotlight and the focus, and all these guys, and they make more money, and maybe some guys think that some of these players on these teams have more sway speaking with the front office in terms of what moves are happening, and it gets kind of contentious. For example, with LeBron James in the past, when how he's moved pieces in Cleveland, or how players have thought of him because of how maybe they felt perceived that they were just dispensable, but I like how Isaiah Stewart kind of in that moment, regardless if it was LeBron or KD or Steph Curry or some of these other players, you don't necessarily think, maybe because of their nature, you wouldn't necessarily think of LeBron. And I get to LeBron James in this moment here in another second, but I feel that, Stewart was like, I'm not going to take no shit from any other player, no other player, or no other, hierarchy of how this league is established. It's going to dictate kind of who I am and what I'm going to do in this moment is kind of how I felt, how he was defending himself, because like he definitely, that was an egregious foul. I mean, you just look at the result on his face over the course of his time out on the court, getting bloodier and bloodier. And I mean, you look at the, just the highlights, it was a hard hit. So I liked his passion, and how, in spite of maybe some players understanding kind of what the hierarchy is, say in the NBA or some of these other leagues, he's a guy who's kind of going to beat to his own drum regardless. And we have lots of players like that in the league, but I always respect and admire that. And I saw another player in another moment last night in Isaiah Stewart.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'd never heard of him before. I'm sure
half
of the NBA has never heard of this guy before, but
I'm never going to forget
just
him
the pictures alone. Like, it looks like he was run over by a car. And to be frank, that kind of is what happens when LeBron James is on the court and you're in the way, even with just a hand, right? Like, he's a giant.
Does that much damage?
Huge damage. Yeah, is not even, it doesn't even suffice in terms of what it means. But Isaiah Stewart was bloodied, and it doesn't help that, like, everybody's pushing him and making it worse. But I don't know, at some point you just got to let up. Like, the other side of me here is, I would not be surprised if this guy sees some time on the bench for a little while here.
Totally. It's still not how he behaved, especially after the first time that they tried to pull him away, is behavior that the NBA won't tolerate. It's good
if nothing escalated further. Like, if they did meet face to face, I don't think LeBron would be throwing punches, but I don't think that he would just take any kind of physical abuse from this guy. Anyway,
did you think this is my thought on LeBron, did you think what LeBron did in that moment was intentional? Maybe not knowing where he was going to hit Stewart, but
I think if a guy pushes, force. I think they're used to, how many times are the foul line in a game? Like a good handful. They're used to pushing for position to get rebounds, like you said at the top. These are two really big guys. I think that Isaiah Stewart's body or checking was just a little too high on LeBron, and it looked like he was pushing to swing the arm away or get the contact off of me. If he was going to get a foul for that, I'm sure he was fine with that. But, just the timing of where his hand was, the way that it slipped off of the arm, smacked the guy. I don't think he was trying to hurt the guy. And even if LeBron's an amazing actor, which he's not, because we've all seen Space Jam 2. He really meant to. He really, I think he was really surprised at the fact that he smacked this guy in the face. I don't think that he was trying to do any harm or cause anything there. And it's Detroit. Like, why would the Lakers, be trying to start anything with the Detroit Pistons? It's ridiculous.
Well, they sure did.
Yeah.
It's on now. So.
And we've got a rematch, he said, this weekend. Cade Cunningham dropped
on Sunday.
Triple-double, though. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And, I really respect Cade was really involved. He was really involved in trying to calm down Stewart.
Yeah.
He maybe didn't necessarily have the experience. It's a very fresh new situation for him. So it was a huge learning curve for him. I just liked how he was involved. I'm sure he learned a lot from it. I hope overall I could see Stewart in the moment wasn't buying anything that Cade was saying to him. But, sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment, that's just it. You're in the heat of the moment. Nothing what anyone's going to say to you is you're going to be able to hear it. Got a good moment there too, to see, even with, his rawness and inexperience, that he walks the walk. He doesn't talk when he talks about being a leader. He's the real deal. And that's awesome for him. That's awesome for Detroit to see that you've got that kind of character on your team. So promising, man.
Absolutely.
That was great. But yeah, so we'll see what happens on Sunday. Oh, quick note too. So LeBron suspended 1 game. Isaiah Stewart suspended 2 games.
You think those are fair?
It's weird. Like, LeBron's getting kind of, pulled into the whole slew of it, because Stewart was so hot on one end.
I mean, he played the guy up. He did. He cut him over.
Oh, for sure. There's cause and effect. So, if Stewart had to be a little bit more than LeBron. So if you're going to give LeBron 1 and give Stewart 2, then I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
It's fine. And then the last little caveat of this is that Russell Westbrook got a tech.
That's right.
So and he was surprised. He's like, "What the hell did I do?
Well, why did it? Exactly. What did he do? I'm confused.
I don't know.
Like, he must have said something.
It'd be funny if it was like completely away from the play, like he's yapping at the fans or something, as he's wont to do. Anyway, any last thoughts on this?
No, man, I'm good.
The Ordinary Podcasting Network is excited to announce that we have launched a merch store on our website. The store is full of ordinary swag, including t-shirts, hoodies, and hats. You can pick out something awesome and support your favorite podcast today by heading over to ordinarypodcasts.com. All right, I need to start this next segment off with a big props. You had a props for Mon Shumpert. I need to give a big props to DeMar DeRozan. I'm not going to spend too much time here, as I like to circle back to the Chicago Bulls, but he is the leading Chicago Bulls point getter. And I think it's like in the first 10 or 15 games. And he's only 1 above MJ. Here, let me pull up this stat. Okay, DeRozan shot 10 of 20 from the field, 2 of 2 from beyond the arc, and 9 of 9 from the free throw against the Knicks on the 21st. And in doing so, it was the most points in the first 16 games with a team in Bulls history. Bulls history.
Wow.
You know who is the king of Bulls history?
Yep. MJ.
The king of basketball. And he had 424 points in the first 16 games. DeRozan had 425. That's awesome.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
He won't smash the other Bulls records, but he's smashing the first few here, and he's got to be feeling good. So props to DeMar, because I'm forever DeMar DeRozan fan, and he's succeeding. He's finding success there.
He's taking 18.8 field goal attempts so far over 18 games. He's taking 18.8 field goal attempts per game. And like the last high that I'm seeing of him ever achieving that so far in the season, again, it's a short season so far to start, but his 16-17 year in Toronto, he was 20.9 field goal attempts per game.
Wow.
So his usage rate was like way up in that particular season. But in Chicago right now, you're right. Like he is the number one guy. And in like the last like 3 or 4 years, this is the highest usage that we've kind of seen of him, being channeled in. So the Chicago team's real deal, man. You're right about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious to see how they do going down the stretch. And then especially if we start to look playoff time, kind of how teams match up against them. And
oh yeah, like so they're sitting first in the East right now, right? Tied with Brooklyn.
Actually, Brooklyn's win tonight just put Brooklyn up on top.
Okay, so they're second in the East.
Yep.
You said they're an eighth of the way through the season.
About an eighth. Yeah, and maybe like 7.5 fish.
So is there a piece that they? I mean, is there? I'm trying to think if there's like an opening here for a team that's really struggling, that's looking to move pieces that Chicago could add here and really push them over the top. Because I don't see Brooklyn being able to add anything more. Do they have any room?
No. But I mean, when you got KD, do you need anything really?
Okay. So let's leave Brooklyn again here. But to answer my question,
yeah.
Is there something here that Chicago could really, really look to add?
I'm looking at teams right now that maybe would want to jostle. The Pacers are having a horrendous start to their season. They're 8-11 right now, but I also think with a new coach and everything, there's a lot they're trying to suss out. So I don't know if any movement would happen. Conversations we've heard of players moving in general, because we want to bring his name up. I'm not going to say his name on this podcast, dude. I'm not going to do it. But him, trading with Jeremy Grant. So Jeremy Grant from Detroit seems to be somebody that's available.
Ben Simmons alert!
Mother, son of a gun.
He had to make his way in.
No, you did it. I didn't say shit. I did not say shit. Do not put his face.
I don't know, man. I don't think Simmons could end up in. I don't think that this is a good situation for Chicago. That doesn't work. They've already seen
Sacramento.
There we go. Yep.
Could Chicago maybe make a move with Sacramento? Like if you could get Buddy Hield just as another asset to add depth to your team, or 3-point shooting, I would be so flipping for it. And them just firing their coach Luke Walton is obviously setting a precedent that this year, they're trying to do it early to like plug the leaks that are happening in the hull of the ship. But I think
the hull of the ship, the hull of the fandom. Okay, so this is a great segue because I really do want to talk about how ridiculous it was that the Jazz who were leading the Kings in the fourth quarter the game was halted for 10 minutes because the cleanup crew had to frantically wipe up the vomit, the barf of what is the Sacramento Kings season right now. And the next day, as you predicted, Mr. Luke Walton gets fired. This could not be any worse for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah. You got really disgruntled players, and you got young players that feel like there's not, I think, any kind of strong guidance or confidence. I read this as well. The Kings are so bad, they made a drunk courtside fan puke during a game. It's perfect. His head must have been spinning. Spinning from all the turnovers, man.
The turnovers and just dismal basketball.
Back and forth constantly.
Oh my goodness. So Luke Walton's out. They've got Alvin Gentry there now. So he's interim. Yeah. He was the assistant coach. Alvin Gentry's a good coach, seasoned coach.
He's good.
Didn't work out with the young guys in New Orleans. Didn't work out with the young guys in Phoenix. Do you think he'll be able to last? Do you think he'll be able to meet the benchmarks that they've set for the rest of the season's success?
I hope so. You know what? I'm gonna say yes. I don't think Sacramento has any other coach This is the way I look at it. Either they have a coach in mind right now and they're going to pull the trigger and go after him before the week's done.
But they already said Alvin Gentry's the guy right now. They already
then
did
it's
that.
It's going to be Alvin Gentry.
Yeah.
They're not going to find anybody else until the season's done. It's going to be Alvin Gentry till the end of the year. And they're just going to say, we have faith in this guy.
Available at the end of the year.
We'll do both. We're going to look at who's available at the end of the year, but we're going to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
And if you can get an equitable season, more than anything, just see growth, see experience and growth and cohesion. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing about Sacramento. I see very sporadic plays, but a lot of the time I'll see Marvin Bagley Jr. or I'll see our guy that we were just Buddy Hield.
Fox, Halliburton.
Yeah. Well, no, I see Fox and Halliburton have a bit more structure, but I find those two guys, messy turnovers, or they're trying to drive in and there's no cohesiveness or communication. Gotcha. I see just kind of some, I can't find the right verbiage.
It's like we talked about this last week. This team has a lot of really, really great opportunities in the future here. Lots of guys who are really raw, really young, except for Tristan Thompson and Harrison Barnes, but they've got a whole lineup here of picks that could turn into something fresh with a fresh start, right? We could see, we've been talking about Marvin Bagley and Buddy Hield being on the move and being on the block, but this could be an opportunity for them to really solidify their mark with this team. And to say, this is the fresh start that we needed. We are this, Bagley, I am a second overall pick. And that's, the Kings chose me. I'm their guy. I'm turning this ship around, and I'm turning it around with some energy, knowing that it's not with Luke Walton, and it's not, I feel optimistic about this team right now. But I feel like they've turned the chapter. They puked all over the court, night in and night out, and then a fan did it one night, and then they fired their coach, and here we are. I'm feeling optimistic. I have a little bit of hope because there isn't that added pressure to just keep drilling this thing into the ground. Right now we're hungover. We're in the little hungover stage. The guy puked it all out. We're hungover. Drink some water. Get back into the gym. Drop some new ideas, and we'll see what happens.
I'm all for it, man.
They might very well make it to the off season feeling like they're back in a binge, drunk again, puking again.
Oh yeah. This could be a season long hangover. It's a rude awakening that they honestly should have done this last summer. I don't know why, but here we are, and in hindsight, it's 2020, and we move forward. And maybe there could be some trade pieces. The other thing, because you got me thinking about this, I'm thinking about other teams, right? So, you're telling me when initially we're talking here about Chicago and some of the moves they can make, and we're looking at the lay of the land in the East. And I think, there's still a lot of shaking to happen. Like Atlanta's 9-9. I don't see them staying that way. I picked Atlanta to be like one of the top, teams this season. And so there's a lot of teams kind of sussing it out, figuring things out. But there's one team I look at in the Western Conference, and I've got a deep well of concern for. Like a genuine, holy crap, this hull has many holes, and this freaking ship hit the goddamn Titanic iceberg, man. Is cracking in half. And that's Denver Nuggets.
Oh,
because Michael Porter is at season he's at risk of losing the whole season because he's got this weird nerve issue in his back.
Well, so this is not a new thing, right? Wasn't he out for the first 2 or 3 seasons of his career because he was having back surgeries?
He had major back surgeries, not minor back surgeries, almost full out reconstruction of the back. I don't know what it is. If it part of me remembers when I was kind of following this guy a couple years ago, and I was reading into this, that I think he fell and it messed his back up.
Right.
It might have been in a game or something like that. But yeah, he was a number 1 rated high school prospect. And then everyone looked at all of his medical reports in relation to his back and all the surgeries that he had and the type of surgeries that he had, and thinking about what this league is. And there was deep-seated concern. There was deep-seated concern because they just felt like that this guy has a very early expiration date, unfortunately. And what the hell, man? It's crazy.
It is what the hell. And it's an unfortunate thing. I hope that he stays healthy, and I hope that whatever comes back in terms of x-rays or MRIs, that they'll determine what the severity of this resurgence of his back problems are. But I hope that he's okay, and I hope that he maintains his trajectory. But look at the bright side. I mean, it's not the bright side. The silver lining of the Denver Nuggets is that they are loaded with power forwards. They've got Aaron Gordon. They've got Jeff Green. They've got Bol, who could really turn into an opportunist. If he sees that there's an opportunity here, it's not a night in, night out kind of a thing, but there, he could be a plug. JaMychal Green's still there. So I'm hoping that there's a stopgap there that can lessen the bleeding. I hope that Jamal Murray comes back with a huge vengeance, and that's got to be around Christmas. I hope, fingers crossed.
They were saying, but I don't. Yeah, it could be maybe as early as we might not see him till February.
Okay, so we're on if you're a Denver Nuggets fan right now, you are on a teeter-totter. You're right at the tipping point. This is not looking good, but yeah, man, I don't have the same kind of optimism I do for the Nuggets that I did for the Kings.
Porter has a history of back issues. The 23-year-old previously underwent a microdiscectomy to repair a bulging disc in November 2017, costing him all but 3 outings in his lone year at Missouri. He had a second procedure on his spine in July of 2017, erasing that would have otherwise been his rookie season with the Nuggets in 2017-18.
Mm-hmm.
So,
man, that's not good.
I don't know.
He's young. He's too young for back problems. Okay. He's 23, man. He's 23 years old.
I freaking love him. I love how he plays. Yeah, it's just devastating. I don't know. I think this Denver team is going to really have a challenging time this season. They may just squeak into the playoffs, if not be a play-in team.
Yeah.
That was playing, so
on a 4-game losing streak before all of this happens.
Yeah.
So
and I think he's been out since November 6th. Was the last time when Michael Porter played.
It's going to be cool to see how these middle of the pack teams are doing. Like the Nuggets are still above 500. The Lakers are sitting at 500, but then you've got, the Timberwolves and the Thunder now. So the Timberwolves and Lakers could really make a dent on the Nuggets future here this season. I think the Blazers are going to kick it up a notch.
Memphis should be higher too.
You think
Memphis
so?
Maybe even making a 7 seed. Oh, for sure.
They're all tied right now.
I believe in Ja.
Yeah.
He's got it. You know what, dude? I love Luka. Luka's my guy. I got my jersey. I love my Jason Tatum and my Jaylen Brown. I double dose of love out of Boston. But Ja Morant is got to be like this season's crush for me. If I had to pick like my NBA crush that I'm just ogling over, it's Ja freaking Morant. Man.
Wow, man.
That I think that guy is, when everything's said and done, he's going to be one of like.
Why? Tell us why. Is it because he's flashy?
30. No, I don't know. He's going to be top 75 for sure. For sure.
Top 75.
Top 75 all time. John
Murray. You heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
You think Clay's going to be okay with that? Because maybe Clay
will be in there too.
Clay's going to be like sitting 75th, and then John Morant's going to finish his career, and then he's going to get bumped back to 76.
76 is where Clay's going to end. Yeah. Because Jazz can squeak in.
That's funny.
But yeah, he's flashy. He's got a high motor. He gives a shit. He's invested. He's got those intangibles that are going to last you your whole career. And he's just getting better in terms of his skill set.
Yeah.
And he makes really good decisions. Really good decisions. He's got a good mind. So yeah, man, I think the sky's the roof for Ja and for Memphis. Memphis is one of those teams, man. They can get a couple pieces.
Did you say the sky's the roof? Sky's the roof. I think it's the sky's the limit. Well, I guess the roof is also the limit. I've never heard the sky's the roof.
That's what I meant. The sky's the limit. I must have been raise the roof. Raise the roof.
Well, but sky's the limit makes sort of some sense. Like
raise the limit.
Reach the sky.
This is a segment that may or may not be on the podcast. I don't know.
You can guarantee.
Sky is the limit. That's what I mean. It's possible. How about this? The possibilities are endless. I put a rainbow. Possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Okay.
For John Morant, because they really are. Because he's that special of a player, and I believe in him. And I ironically too, when the season started, watched quite a bit of Memphis games. I think I watched like the first 3 or 4 of them.
I just wish they were back in Vancouver. Me too.
Me too. There's no bears. There are no bear. Tell me if there is a bear in Tennessee. People out in Tennessee that listen to this pod.
Oh yeah.
If there is, or people that have been to Tennessee. I've driven through Tennessee, but come on.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because that happened again with when the New Orleans it was the Hornets, right? So the New Orleans Hornets went back, and then they changed themselves to the Pelicans easily. The Hornets went back to Charlotte because
it was the Charlotte Bobcats.
They were the Bobcats. Okay.
Whoa,
but here's the thing.
Brutal logo.
Okay. So you know why the New Orleans were the Hornets? Because they bought them from Charlotte, right? Yep. But before that, they were the New Orleans Jazz. Why are the Utah Jazz still called the Utah Jazz?
Wait. Was it the New Orleans Jazz and then they went to Utah?
Well, I'm not entirely sure what the trajectory there.
No, what?
But why? But tell me then. Tell me why the Utah Jazz are called the Utah Jazz. How many Mormons do you know listen to jazz music?
I met a couple.
Okay, so fair. There's probably a decent percentage now, probably because of the basketball. But this is not a good name for Utah. This doesn't make sense.
You want to call them the Utah Mormons?
That makes a lot more sense, man.
That's no fun.
Salt Lake City.
Not saying anything bad about Mormonism or people wanting to be a Mormon, but I'm just like, that's an everyday thing. There's you got teams like the Raptors.
Right.
I guess the Lakers. What the hell is a Laker? I feel like it's just like somebody who's super wealthy that owns property.
I'll tell you.
Taxes.
I think it's because they used to be in Minneapolis.
Yeah, totally. And there was a lot of lakes around there. But again, what the hell is a Laker?
Somebody who lives on a lake or is on a lake.
I'm a Laker then. I'm a Laker.
It doesn't make sense to me. They should pick their own name, Oh my gosh. The Los Angeles Lakers had to change their name now.
Yeah.
Be something dumb like the Stars or something.
The Los Angeles Wish.
Billionaires. The Wish, yeah. Yeah, okay. So I just found it though.
I mean,
I pulled up.
Yeah.
The Jazz were in New Orleans before. It was a team in New Orleans, and then when they moved to, I guess Utah had a team called the Utah Stars, part of the American Basketball Association back in the 70s. Although Salt Lake City was not known for its jazz culture, the team decided to keep the name as there was not enough time before the start of the 79-80 season to receive league approval for a name change. They also kept the Mardi Gras theme colors. Just like so poorly managed and planned. The minute they got there, apparently, like their first season, they saw their ticket sales just decline rapidly.
All right, every basketball player, fan, anyone who listens to this podcast, we all got a job to do here. All right, New Orleans Jazz, Charlotte Hornets. We already got that.
Yeah, we got that back.
And we're gonna Memphis coming back to Vancouver. So we're getting
back to Vancouver.
We're getting the Vancouver Grizzlies. Memphis is going to be called, I don't know, the Memphis Guitar Strings, and or the Memphis Elvises. And then lastly, the Utah Mountain Lions. Okay.
Oh,
How's
is that
sound?
Utah? Is that what they're? Lions. Is that what they're known for?
Yeah, you remember all those videos that you would see of like mountain lions chasing people and then them videotaping it and slowly walking backwards? That all happens in Utah. So.
Yeah, I mean they got mountains and stuff. I'm down for the
mountain lions.
That's good. It's better than Cougars too.
Like a really, and we'll make the mascot outfit, and it'll be like kind of a cute furry body suit.
Yeah.
But then the mask will be like really giant mouth, like a really large mountain lion mouth, and it'll be all bloodied, and there'll be kind of like every night you put a fresh hunk of meat just kind of hanging off one tooth.
So what? It's just like Isaiah Stewart's face, or
exactly, yeah,
like
and its eyes are
LeBron
like
sticking out.
Enraged. Exactly. There you go.
Okay. One other team
he couldn't get to LeBron. He couldn't get to LeBron, and he was so mad he like bit into a basketball, and the basketball is kind of hanging out of his mouth.
It's just the Tasmanian devil. Well, that's awesome.
There you go.
I'm also for the Seattle Supersonics coming back.
Yes,
and
in Jeff Bezos' arena.
Right. His kingdom, his castle, his climate pledge arena. Giddy. Okay, well, until then, I think we'll wrap it there.
Sounds great. That sounds great. I think we finished on a high note, and
we'll do it again next week.
We're gonna do it again next week. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be exciting things. We had throw up and almost violence. What are we gonna have next week?
Who knows? We're gonna have some fiascos going down next week. So tune in, and we'll catch you all next week.
Peace.